You are so important. I can't even try to begin to describe the immensity of your importance and significance in this illusion of a reality. We believe because ever since the day we are born, being born, that we are separate from one another. We live our lives, other people live their lives, and when we see a river, it is a river, it is not us. Everything is divided, so we can't see the oneness, which is everything, which is us. And so we believe we are separate, small, and insignificant, because how much power can we have over this grand, endless cosmos? We are so small. We are just a tiny fraction of it. Who are we? How is it possible that we have any kind of influence on this grand, amazing reality? No, we are just, this is what we believe, that we are just a small, unimportant part of it. Maybe we have some kind of influence over our immediate surroundings, and this is it. This is what we believe we do. And sometimes we envy other people, important people, famous people, rich people, because they are more important than us. They have more influence. The Prime Minister has more influence on reality than me. And this is the great mistake, because everything is one. This or nothingness is one. So basically we are also the Prime Minister himself, and we are also the rich people or the famous people, and we are everything that is around us. This is very hard to believe, that we are everything that we see and can perceive, that we are it, that we act in this oneness in different ways. In fact, all the phenomena that we are witnessing aren't real, have no existence, including us. And so there is no realness in everything that surrounds us and is happening. And yet we feel in the separate form that it is real, and we see it through our viewpoint. This eternal moment, this oneness, sees itself through endless viewpoints. It sees itself through our viewpoints, and it sees itself through the viewpoint of a cat that is looking at us. It doesn't mean that any of it is real, or that any of the phenomena are more real than the other, or that any of the phenomena is more important than the others. So when I say that you are so important, I say that because the only viewpoint that is valid, that is expressed right now, is yours. So theoretically, the only thing that exists is you. You do not exist, but it seems like you exist, and through this imaginary existence, this oneness experiences itself. So, because we can only perceive our viewpoint, it is the only one that exists. This is a very, very strange thing for me to do right now, if you follow my logic. Simcha knows she doesn't exist, and she talks to other phenomena that don't exist. In my book, she is crazy to do that. It's like you will see someone acting very, very rationally in this reality, in the normal reality, and you will say, oh, he's crazy, why is he doing that? This is not making any sense. So for me to talk to you, it doesn't make sense, and yet I do that. And the reason I do that is because right now I know that this illusion of reality is the only one that exists, because it is mine. It's the oneness through the eyes of Simcha, and Simcha is the only one that exists. In this logic, you are the only one that exists. And so each and every one of us is the center of the expression of this oneness. It is the only means in which it can express itself, only through the individual separate forms. And there aren't any separate forms. They are all an illusion, a grand illusion. But as long as you perceive yourself as a separate form with an expression, you are the only viewpoint of nothingness, of oneness. You are it. This is why I say there are no words to express how important the way you express this oneness is. Expressing oneness is expressing its highest potential and its highest values. I don't know how to describe, because this all nothingness is pure compassion, love, and everything that you consider as a positive emotion. And this is its nature, the happiness, the joy. And when we, as separate forms, do not express these qualities in our lives, all our reality, all the oneness that surrounds us reacts to the level of our expression. We create the level of this expression. We are in charge of the evolution of this oneness. Only we are in charge of it, no one else. It may sound crazy because there are so many wise people and people who know, and books and theories and things that suggest that we are only a part of something and we do not have this power. It belongs to others. It is not in our hands. But if we realize that there are no others, that there is no other viewpoint on this all nothingness, in the moment, the only valid viewpoint is yours. The only thing that changes something in this reality is you. And you do that the way you are meant to do that, or you plan to do that. We plan to do that as oneness. We aspire to express ourselves fully, to express this all nothingness fully. And we try to do that by living a full life. But we always consider our lives as our lives. How much will I progress in my spiritual journey, in my life, in my career, in my relationship? How much will it benefit me and my immediate small surrounding? It's not a big story compared to the great story of humanity. It is not. This is the normal perception. This is only my story, my small, narrow story. Only this is the grand mistake, the enormous mistake we make by separating ourselves from this oneness and believing that we are separate from it and believing that we are narrow and small. We do not grasp our influence over every aspect of it because it is all us. If something happens in the body of someone, all the body is influenced by it. It cannot happen only to a part of the body and the rest of the body will not know what has happened. it is the same body. We are the heart of the body. We are the moving force of this illusion. We are it. We planned it so we will see ourselves through a separate form, expressing itself and to various separate forms. So it's not that we divided ourselves to separate forms. There is only one separate form. There is only one expression. So narrowing ourselves down to this separate form and believing that we are what we think we are, just a small part, an insignificant hinge in an enormous machine, sometimes makes us feel very frustrated or depressed, because we know down deep inside, we know that it can't be true. It cannot be true that we are so small. It cannot be true that our lives are so unimportant, not because we don't influence them in a materialistic kind of way, or we don't succeed as much as we would like. There is an inner sorrow, because like the world doesn't acknowledge how we know how enormous we are, we know how important we are, and it looks like the world doesn't reflect that, it doesn't see that. What's the point of living this miserable life? No matter how good our lives can be compared to others, or if our lives has many difficulties and challenges, what's the point of living in such a small way? What does it matter? What does it matter if we are alive or we are dead? We are not important. The world can continue without us. But it can't. We are the world. Like they say in a very famous song from the 80s, I think, we are the world. We are this reality. This is how important we are. We are it. Of course it matters what we do and how we live. We influence everything in our imagined world, in this imaginary world. We influence everything from the movement of the rivers and the skies and the stars in the skies and all the processes, the psychological, political, social processes that occur. All of them are reflections of our own personal growth and our own ability to acknowledge what we are. This is the struggle of oneness to express itself fully through the separate form, and we are the only thing that it can use. Only us. There are no others. It's as simple as that. Only we exist. So all this oneness depends on us to develop. When we act from this point of knowing what we are and how important we are, it can change the way we act inside our reality. If we start to see that everything around us is the reflection, is only a mere reflection, and yet we respect our reflections. We respect them and we act in order to help them and to make them progress, just as we progress. We don't leave anyone behind and try to do it and progress the separate form. This will not do. Trying to move ahead in the separate form and leaving everyone behind because they are not smart enough or they will never get it. So doing that is leaving part of you behind. And this part is yours, is you. You cannot leave it behind. You cannot progress in your spiritual journey and in your life without taking everyone with you. Everyone means you. You know that you are the only thing that is in existence. And this is a paradox, but you have to respect and take everyone with you. Acknowledge their struggles, help them as much as you can. Not concentrate only on your own evolution. Your evolution is the evolution of everything. But it cannot be done by concentrating on the separate form and trying to evolve separately. It is a mutual, beautiful movement that takes everyone with it, that takes everything into consideration. We take everyone, we are everyone. We disrespect our reality. We look at it in such bored eyes, sometimes we have even contempt. We don't appreciate anything about it. It's not what we wanted for ourselves. We wanted more. This is not a reflection of what I deserve. So what I deserve and this great desire, it comes from the knowing that we are not who we are. There is an inner knowing, and it knows that this cannot be the story. And yet we fail to see that the separate form, as it is being presented right now by us, is so perfect for the expression. It doesn't matter what it does, where it lives, how it looks, and what state it is in. It is beautifully constructed, and she gives us this separate form like a path. We can walk and express ourselves and develop. And sometimes this frustration from this ordinary, insignificant existence, separate existence, causes us not to act, not to do our part. And our part is the most important part. It's the only part. The only way we can see ourselves as this all-nothingness in the most high evolved potential is that we do that ourselves. It cannot come from the outside. It has to flow from within us. It has to come from us. We have to make enormous effort in order to act in our reality, accept our reality, love our reality as much as we can, and strive to change our reality for the better. And when we do that, we teach everything to do the same. Everything is a reflection of our behavior. Everything responds to our conduct, what we do. It may sound crazy, and you cannot grasp how can everything be connected to me. And this is only because you fail to see that you are one with everything. When you are one with everything, everything you do is what everything else does. And so it strives to reach your separate form's own level of evolution. There are no numerous separate forms in which oneness divided itself into. There is only one separate form, your separate form, what you perceive, your reality. So when Simcha realized that she was not the separate form, that she was everything, she also realized that she doesn't need to do anything, because there are no other phenomena, and she doesn't need to help anyone. because everything is non-existing. And yet there is, like you got inside the cinema and you started to see a movie. And Simcha, in the middle of the movie, realized that she is not the actor in the movie. She is not the character that is running and from the car that wants to run over her. She realized she was looking at the movie. And she chose to sit and look at the rest of the movie. And now she's viewing the movie, just viewing it. And in the movie there is a character called Simcha. And she got to that point by acting in a certain way. And she continues to act in a certain way because it is logical for the character. And she can see that the character that wants to help others inside the movie can change the movie. She doesn't know how. But she knows that if we don't do the effort ourselves to change the scenario in the script of the movie that is our lives, no one will. We are the creator of this movie. So it's up to us how the movie will roll. It's like there are countless, endless reels of movies inside this movie theater. And inside every one of these reels, there is an entire film, from the beginning to an end, birth to death. And how we act inside every film is the only difference. And it is up to us to look now at the movie which is our life and hope that this reel is the reel in which our character takes responsibility over everything. She takes the world on her shoulders. She carries the world. Carry the world and help the world, because she knows she is it. So she is committed to herself, to others. She's not living the life of a coward who is asking for permission and all the time is sitting on the side and pondering whether it's good for him or it's bad for him, and always thinking of itself and narrowing himself down. No, it acts bravely. And this is a movie we can aspire to express, and in which, if we do that, we change the entire movie. We change the reel of the movie that is being screened. Depends on you, which kind of movie do you want to see. And in these plot lines of endless options, it's so beautiful for us that we have the power to decide in the separate form, because we are trapped in the separate form, and we have an ego and a mind and everything that thinks, and friends, and everything that can encourage us to express ourselves in this way, in the high way. It's like an opportunity for us. This opportunity is always being presented. Take me, express me. Like in Alice, eat me. Do something. Express yourself so the world can express itself, so that flowers can bloom. It's a reflection. It works together. And sometimes it will work. You will see the opposite results, and you will say, okay, but I'm doing this and the world is doing that. But if you do the right thing and you act in your world and you take the part which is you don't aspire to be anyone else, you realize what you are and you do your part. If you do that, then even the most painful processes that you witness and the things that you consider as bad for you and for the world are good processes that are essential for the world to develop from the point that it is in, because we are in some point, and sometimes the world or reality has to go through a phase in order to be better. So it doesn't necessarily mean that everything will be smooth if you do the right thing. It can mean that hardship will come your way and will bring you many, many challenges, but they will be on the way, on the right way, on the beautiful way to healing yourself, healing the world. Entire world is being healed by your process. It can be a difficult process. It can be a long process, but this aspiration for growth, for expressing this passion of taking what is mine, taking my part, doing it with all my heart and soul. I will be the best character I can be. If she has a potential, a talent, I will express it. If she needs to fight for something, I will fight this fight. If she needs to help someone, I will do that. I will not even think twice about it. I will do it. I will take myself and express myself and see what happens and witness as the world changes around me. And if I do that, it will always be for the better. It will always make the difference. So believing that this thing is us, this all nothingness is us, and everything depends on us, may be very scary. It's a lot of responsibility. And don't be confused. You are still in the separate form. So the only thing you can do is be the best separate form you can be. Don't worry about the rest. Don't try to grasp it with your mind that you are everything. Don't try to comprehend it. I'm expressing this idea for you to know that this inner feeling is true. You are magnificent. You are important. But don't try to make this a truth you force yourself to believe in when you don't experience it. Until you experience this as the ultimate truth, the only thing you can do is hear about this idea, this beautiful idea, see that it rings some kind of logic to you, that your life is influencing so many things, and then live your life in the best possible way you can. Just be the best character you can be. Don't force yourself to understand that you are everything. I'm telling this truth is universally known. I'm not inventing anything. It is an idea you cannot grasp as reality, and until you do, I recommend that this all nothingness, which is you, will express itself in the highest, most loving way it can. Know that you are so, so, so important. Know that you are never affected by anything, and you are safe to act. You are the blessing, which is this illusion of a world, which is this all nothingness, which is so beautifully expressing itself through one particular viewpoint, the most important viewpoint, yours.
Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing stillborn or lost, nothing further than proof, nothing wilder than